Imagine believing with every fiber of your being that the Messiah had finally come, that centuries of exile, persecution, and waiting were over, that redemption was not just near, but imminent. Imagine selling your home, abandoning your livelihood, preparing to journey to the Holy Land. Now imagine learning that your Messiah, faced with death, had renounced his faith and converted to Islam. In the year 1666, this wasn't imagination. It was the shattering reality for perhaps half the Jewish world, gripped by the fervor surrounding Sabbatai Zevi. The 17th century was a time of profound suffering and messianic yearning for Jewish communities across Europe and the Ottoman Empire. The horrific Chmielnicki massacres in Poland and Ukraine 1648-49 had left hundreds of thousands dead, communities devastated. Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, flourished, particularly the intricate Lurianic system developed in Seifed, which spoke of cosmic repair, tikkun, and the imminent arrival of the Redeemer. The stage was set for a figure who could embody these hopes. Sabbatai Zevi was born in Smyrna, modern Izmir, Turkey, in 1626. From a young age, he was drawn to mysticism, studying Kabbalah, practicing asceticism, and experiencing periods of intense spiritual ecstasy, often followed by deep depression, what modern observers might diagnose as bipolar disorder. He began to hint at his own messianic identity, performing strange symbolic acts that violated Jewish law, claiming they were permissible in the dawning messianic age. His erratic behavior led to him being banished from Smyrna by the local rabbinate around 1651. For years, Sabbatai wandered the Ottoman Empire, Salonika, Constantinople, Jerusalem, Cairo, gathering small circles of followers, but also attracting controversy and further banishments. He married a woman named Sarah, herself an orphan survivor of the Chmielnicki massacres, who claimed she was destined to marry the Messiah. She brought a charismatic, if unconventional, energy to his developing movement. The turning point came in 1665. While in Gaza, Sabbatai Zevi encountered a brilliant young Kabbalist named Nathan Benjamin Levi, known as Nathan of Gaza. Nathan, deeply learned and profoundly charismatic, experienced visions confirming Sabbatai as the true Messiah. He became Sabbatai's prophet, theologian, and publicist. Nathan skillfully interpreted Sabbatai's strange actions and mood swings through the lens of Lurianic Kabbalah, portraying his periods of darkness as necessary descents into the realm of evil, the klipo, to retrieve lost sparks of holiness, a struggle essential for cosmic redemption. Nathan's endorsement ignited the movement. Letters flew across the Jewish world, proclaiming the Messiah's arrival. Sabbatai returned triumphantly to Smyrna in late 1665. The city was seized by messianic frenzy. People fell into ecstatic trances, experienced prophecies, danced in the streets. Business stopped. Believers began selling their property, preparing for the miraculous journey to Jerusalem, which Sabbatai prophesied would occur in 1666. Rabbis who opposed him were intimidated or overthrown. The fervor spread like wildfire through the Ottoman Empire, Italy, Germany, Holland, Poland, even England. Communities were split, families divided. Prominent rabbis and wealthy merchants became ardent followers. Reports reached Christian Europe, sparking speculation about the end times. In early 1666, at the height of his influence, Sabbatai Zevi sailed for Constantinople, the Ottoman capital, intending, perhaps, to confront the Sultan and claim his worldly crown. The Ottoman authorities, however, were alarmed by the widespread civil unrest and the potential challenge to their rule. Upon his arrival, Sabbatai was immediately arrested and imprisoned, first in Constantinople, then in the fortress of Gallipoli, known as Migdal Oz, the Tower of Strength. Imprisonment, paradoxically, only fueled the messianic fervor. Nathan of Gaza interpreted it as a necessary step in the redemptive process. Sabbatai held court in prison like a king, receiving delegations of followers, issuing decrees, and living in relative comfort. His prison became a pilgrimage site. The belief in his imminent triumph remained unshaken for months. The year 1666 was widely seen as prophetically significant, and expectations reached a fever pitch. But the Ottoman Sultan, Mehmed IV, grew tired of the disruption. In September 1666, Sabbatai Zevi was brought before the Sultan in Adrianople. He was given a stark choice: convert to Islam, proving he was no Jewish messiah, or face execution. The confrontation was dramatic. According to accounts, Sabbatai, stripped of his Jewish followers and facing the Sultan's power, faltered. He removed his Jewish hat, placed a turban on his head, and accepted Islam. He was given a new name, Aziz Mehmed Effendi, and a ceremonial post as keeper of the palace gates. News of the Messiah's apostasy spread slowly, but its impact was devastating. Disbelief turned to shock, then to profound disillusionment and despair. Communities that had been united in ecstatic hope were now fractured by shame and confusion. Many simply abandoned the belief, trying to erase the episode. Rabbis who had opposed Sabbatai regained authority, often imposing penance on former believers. But Nathan of Gaza and a core of devoted followers refused to abandon their faith. Nathan developed a radical new theology. The apostasy itself was the ultimate mystical act, the Messiah's necessary descent into the very depths of the alien realm, Islam, to redeem the final sparks of holiness. This paradoxical belief allowed a significant minority to maintain their faith in Sabbatai, even after his conversion. Sabbatai himself lived a strange double life, outwardly a Muslim but secretly continuing Kabbalistic practices and maintaining contact with his followers. His behavior remained erratic, sometimes observing Islamic customs, sometimes violating both Islamic and Jewish law. The Ottoman authorities eventually exiled him to Ulcinj, in present-day Montenegro, where he died in 1676, likely still maintaining some form of his messianic claim. The Sabbatian movement, though officially crushed, left deep scars and a complex legacy. Many believers eventually returned to mainstream rabbinic Judaism, but the memory of the messianic fervor and its disastrous end fostered a deep suspicion of Kabbalah and mystical enthusiasm in some quarters. It arguably contributed to the rise of Haskalah, the Jewish Enlightenment, which emphasized rationalism. Others clung to the paradoxical belief in Sabbatai's hidden mission. The most prominent group were the Donme, centered in Salonika, who outwardly practiced Islam but secretly maintained Sabbatian beliefs and rituals for centuries, creating a unique, syncretic crypto-Jewish identity. The descendants exist even today, though the community is highly secretive and assimilated. Smaller Sabbatian sects persisted elsewhere. The movement also influenced later mystical figures and Hasidic thought in complex ways. The story of Sabbatai Zevi is more than just a failed messianic movement. It's a profound drama about the power of hope, the dangers of mass hysteria, the complexities of faith in the face of suffering, and the desperate yearning for redemption. His spectacular rise and catastrophic fall created the greatest internal crisis in Judaism since antiquity, forcing a reckoning with mysticism, authority, and the very nature of messianic expectation. The Messiah who promised utopia delivered chaos, leaving behind echoes of shattered dreams and theological paradoxes that haunted Judaism for generations. The quest for utopia takes many forms, some divine, some brutally human. Subscribe to continue exploring history's most ambitious dreams and their often devastating awakenings.